This episode is brought to you by Progressive.
Are you driving your car or doing the laundry right now? Podcasts go best when they're bundled with another activity, like Progressive home and auto policies. They're best when bundled too.
Having these two policies together makes insurance easier and could help you save. Customers who save by switching their home and car insurance to Progressive save over $775 on average.
Quote a home and car bundle today at progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $779 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
You're listening to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, the show that proves no one stumbles upon success ever. With your host, Lou Need. Every Mondays and Thursdays, we deliver cold hard evidence behind the power of a robust morning routine. Get ready to be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lou Need, and today I have the honor of introducing a very special guest to the show, Sharon Rolph. You know, for most of her life, she felt invisible, and I can attest, a lot of us do feel that way. So when she retired, she was wondering how does she know she's being productive? Well, guess what? At 75, she is an influencer. She's an author. She is, the Queen of Courage on Instagram. So podcast guest on there. And then she is going to talk about how to bring that spark back to life. When you close one chapter, how do you begin the other aspect of your life where you shine so brightly? So it's amazing the work that she's been doing, and we're looking forward to hearing how she unraveled it all. So with no further ado, Sharon, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Need. I love talking about passion and purpose and retirement and helping people find their inner spark.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So what did you do before retirement? And then we'll talk about what you're doing currently.
Yeah, well, way back in my teens, there's things that come from the early days. I always had a hot button for potential, like, what's my potential? Mm-hmm. And that kind of that mystery, I think, that God puts inside of us. And then through my career, I kind of helped other people revise their resumes, because oftentimes we're too close to our own skin to be able to be objective. In retirement, I see, my last job was empowering people to solve problems, take problem solving down to the lowest level. And about 4 months before I retired, there came an email into my inbox that said that Boeing was partnering with the community college here on a coaching program. And I thought about it for a couple of weeks. Oh, that would expand my empowerment process that I'm already doing. And I see all this free time as untapped potential.
Yeah.
And it really hurts my heart when people struggle with finding a purpose in retirement, because that adds meaning and better health and longevity. So that's my why. And it's all that potential that just kind of is a hot button for me.
Yeah. And it's like a new chapter, right? So just because you're retired doesn't mean that it's over. You sit on a rocking chair and you talk about the good old days. You don't do that. You revive. You reinvent yourself. It sounds like that's what you did. So tell us about the reinvention process for you as an influencer now.
Well, in fact, the very first weekend of coaching class, they taught us how to write our essence statement. Now, I've renamed that to inner spark or intrinsic motivation, but you could also call it your DNA, your GPS system. Mm-hmm. But I like to say I want to help people discover their inner spark. And it's taking things very, very familiar to us. Someplace I have here. I take what you love to do, your personal qualities, your hot buttons, your aspirations, your values and guiding principles, mold that all into a metaphor. And mine sounds like this. I am precious jewel of wisdom. I'm colorful collaborator, motivator, and learner. I'm tranquil, authentic, and pure inspire. I light fires. And therefore a spark.
Mm-hmm.
So who wouldn't want to have their own, this is who I am and what I bring? I think it gives me a lot of confidence. But, when I started bouncing off the wall, like I got all my insurance and Medicare and Social Security stuff done. Now, how do I know if I'm productive? And I made a wall hanging on my essence statement, and it was hanging on the wall over here. I know one day I read it 3 different times. And I gradually realized that when I lived from that, every day felt right. It's like I was living from my core, from what mattered to me. And that's what really matters.
Yeah, and it's never too late for that, right? It's never too late to find your spark. It's never too late to find your purpose, because that's what a lot of us struggle, is finding why we were born and being able to live in that space of service to others. And in that, we find fulfillment.
Yes,
and so it's important to actually find that. And you're saying it's never too late for that. You do what it takes to find it. Let's talk about some of the habits and some of the things that you had to do to get there.
Well, habits I had to do to get there. Well, I'm an introvert, so I'm still working on getting out of my shell.
Mm-hmm.
But even the last 2-3 weeks, I've decided I need to turn up the burner on loving people. I've never married and never had kids. And my love, I've kind of questioned that when I wrote my book here a couple of years ago. I kind of questioned how much I'm writing the book out of love. But my love is kind of different than a lot of people's, in that it's more of a spiritual connection, and rather than lots of people. But in my recovery work from the abuse that had been in our home, there's times I went to church and I hugged people on purpose so I would get a hug.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that fragile and that needy, I guess. But the struggle I'm doing right now is I'm noticing how often I snack. And Sharon, you got to stop that habit. So one of your questions you wanted me to address is, how do we reward our accomplishments? And I'm still working on that one. But it's, in fact, I think when we reward ourselves, we actually stave off the burnout that can come.
Okay, so we're looking at the rewarding for things done, so that it's almost like you fall off the wagon. How do you get back on the horse, per se?
Well, in fact, one of the easy things that I learned here over the years is we forget where we started and that how far we've come in our accomplishments. So somehow I think of that falling off the wagon. Well, your wagon's farther than it used to be. Mm-hmm. Ignore that gap that how far we've come. So I'm at least eating healthy, very healthy, but still, after by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, I want a snack. Or when I'm in the car coming home, that's for some reason, another reason why I want a snack.
Some habits are hard to break, but there's no need to break the habits, right? Replace them. So replacing that habit in the car would be the thing to do, replacing it with something else. Maybe get on a phone call, talk to somebody instead of just sitting here, distract yourself from eating.
Yeah, I don't think about calling in the car, but yeah, my car is a little older than some.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the balance act. Work-life balance. We know that it's a stigma. It almost doesn't exist. It's more of a priority. So tell us, how do you help people with doing that balance dance so they don't experience any burnout?
Well, the first thing I think is loving yourself and realizing what a marvelous creation you are. The fact that you're breathing is significant, that while you're here, and to love and appreciate yourself. And I've been working on that the last couple of years a lot, because I thought, I want somebody out there to cherish me. I'm hungry to be cherished. And here about 4 months ago, I felt a kind of a burning. I was kneeling, and I don't do that very often, but I felt a burning right here under my wishbone. And I felt like that was God cherishing me in that moment, in that time. And so I often now touch that spot as knowing I'm cherished and I can cherish myself. But that doesn't quite answer your question.
It does. It does. Loving yourself, cherishing yourself, knowing when to stop and when to pause and being in a moment. And is that a sense of awareness?
And knowing, having a sense of your value and confidence. In fact, one of the things I made it for Christmas present was, how can I delight in the value I bring to this world?
Mm-hmm.
That's not ego. That's just acknowledging I'm something of value and to recognize it and say, oh, I did a good job there helping my neighbor, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Sharon, let's talk about some of the morning routine stuff. How do you get up, dress up, and show up? What do you do in the morning to help set the tone for the day for you?
Well, I actually do that mostly before I get out of bed.
Mm.
I can spend anywhere from 15, 20 minutes to an hour praying for people. I have about 20 people on my list I pray for individually. And as I'm doing that, oftentimes, your mind may wander, but that's when I feel like I get these little messages about what I should be doing for the day. Oh, remember to do this, or this would be a good idea to do, So in fact, I've already addressed a couple of those things before we came on today. So praying for individuals and wanting the best for them is powerful, and getting those Holy Spirit intuitive messages that will make my day productive and on the right path for what I need to be doing.
Why is that imperative to wish them well, to want the best for them? Why is that important? Because it's almost like you're sending it out, but it sounds like it comes back to you.
Oh, why is that important? Well, because that's my way of loving them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, sending God's love to them too. So it gets you in the good mindset. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Even the difficult ones, right? There are some difficult people to love.
Yeah. One of the keys that has really been valuable to me in the last couple of years is saying I'm doing the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding that I'm sending that out to other people when it looks like they may not have made a good decision or whatever. They're doing the best they can. And it shuts up that critical voice in your head.
Yeah, it's grace. It's grace towards yourself and having grace towards other people too, meeting them where they're at without that judgment.
Yes, because that judgment is what hurts you and I both, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sharon, tell us, where can we connect with you? Where can we find you?
Well, my website is SharonRolph.com, but I'm very active too on my Facebook page. I'm posting 2 or 3 things a day on Sharon Rolph Facebook. I'm active on Instagram as Sharon_Queen of Courage, and on LinkedIn. And on my website, why you might want to go there is I have this 3 tips to awaken and ignite your inner spark. And that's because we encourage and encouragement and inspiration to take a difficult step, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we need to embrace and value even our dreams. I used to love I went to Bible school just 1 year, and the one verse from chapel that I remember is God who works in you both the will and to do of his good pleasure. And what they said was even God gives us our desires to even want to desire in the first place. So embracing that desire and wanting it with fervency and I'm worth it is powerful. And we often need encouragement to do that.
Wise wisdom. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate finding your inner spark, even post-retirement. Both my in-laws are retired and they're doing Meals on Wheels, volunteering, going to church, and they're thriving. They're enjoying and blissful.
Well, and the book I wrote is Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment. And I create these art blocks. In fact, here's another one. They're just postcard size, but they're also scattered throughout my book because when we see beauty, it processes in our brain differently and therefore easier to connect with our spirit.
Well said. Thank you, Sharon, for the time today. Really appreciate you coming on.
For having me.
Yes.
All right, morning enthusiasts, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you love the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes or Google Play. While you're at it, tell a friend about the show. Be sure to visit bestmorningroutineever.com and our Facebook group to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic free bonus content. Until next time.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.